Welcome in to Out of Touch, episode number 10, double digits. John Alden with you, Dustin Schutte with you, Mitchell Page with you. The whole gang is back today. Last time it was just me and Dustin. We had a good time, but we did miss Mitchell. Talked a lot about the festival stuff, and I really hoped to get his reaction on certain things, but you know what? He's a busy man. He had to deal with things at work. Told me before the show that it was a crapshoot. And I know no one wants to talk about their job, but like I'm sure it wasn't fun to deal with, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And you know, if you guys want me, listeners, to be on every episode, tell all your friends, everyone that you know, that we're doing this, so we can get some sponsors, and I don't have to work.
That's
this
right.
Can be my job. That's
ultimately. I mean, yeah, we do this for fun, but like most people that do this. I mean, yeah, it's a side hustle, but like it's very hard to make something like this your main gig. And you know what? We're going to do this as long as we can, as long as all three of us are motivated. And hopefully that's a long time. And hopefully we get some things rolling here over the next weeks, months, that kind of stuff. But that's besides the point. Dustin Schutte was telling us before we got rolling that he's experiencing some pain right now. He was getting himself situated. He was moving his camera, about in a bunch of different ways. And he says he's got a hernia. He doesn't even know if it's a hernia. I'm going to let him speak for himself, but he's very uncomfortable. Isn't that right, Dustin?
I am very uncomfortable. So first of all, this is self-diagnosed. So this is probably there's like a 90% chance it's not a hernia, but my mind jumps to worst case scenario, right? So I am legitimately injured. I don't know what it is. There's like I don't know how to say. I'm going to try to keep this as PG as I possibly can, right? Like there is some swelling on my upper thigh area.
Okay.
Which is a location for, like, I don't know how you would pronounce it. Some sort of hernia. It starts with an I, like inguine. I don't know. I don't know what it's called. But there is.
Okay.
So it could be that. It's painful. The swelling has gone down over the last 2 weeks. There's also pain in my lower back, and then like shooting pains in my thigh down to my calf. The other day through my foot. So it could also be something with like the sciatic nerve. So I don't really know. All I know is that if I sit in one place for too long, or if I walk for too long, then I do not feel comfortable. So I've been doing a lot of stretching, a lot of maneuvering. I did this working out. I injured it, rested for a week, felt good, felt fine, and then worked out again, and it came back. And the only thing that makes me think it may not be an actual hernia is, so between, like, I got hurt, then I went back to the gym and worked out, and I did 2 or 3 workouts just fine, like strength training workouts. Nothing happened. And then I ran on the treadmill, and then all of a sudden the pain came back. So I don't know if it's like a pulled muscle, groin muscle. I have no idea what it is. It's not fun. I go to the doctor by the time people are listening to this, I will have gone to the doctor and have been diagnosed. So they're going to know before me.
This one is getting recorded sooner than normal. So yeah, maybe next episode we'll have a true discovery.
We'll have an update.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I've never had a hernia. I don't know at what age that becomes like a more common thing to get, but anybody I know that's had a hernia has said it's one of the more uncomfortable things they've ever dealt with. Just because it's awkward, right?
Did you just call him old? Like,
I mean, he's older than me, right?
That felt like he called. I don't know what age, and it sounds like it only happens to really old people. As Dustin just went through this thing that he thinks he has one.
I didn't say it only happens to really old people, because the answer to my question could be 22. It could be 18.
It was a common thing. Not common. I wouldn't say more than like 2 or 3 guys had it in college. But whenever we were like lifting heavy, and you don't get, this has nothing to do with the hernia, but like you're holding your breath and exerting a lot of force without getting enough blood flow or airflow, guys would get hernias, especially from like deadlifts or cleans or something. So I don't know if that has something. Maybe you were running too fast, didn't get enough oxygen. I don't know.
Well, I don't know that running too fast was my problem. Trying to run at all might have been my problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in that same boat. Gasping for air after 20 or like a fourth of a mile.
Yeah. Well, but what was really weird is like, excuse me, like I said, like I did 2 workouts in between and I didn't have any pain or anything. And then I got on the treadmill and ran again and it came back. So that's part of why I think maybe like I'm really hoping it's not a hernia because the only way you can fix it is surgery. And I should make this point too clear. There's not like, there's not like something sticking out where it would be obvious that that's a hernia. It's just like swollen in my upper leg area.
Either way, it just sounds
It may
terrible.
just be swelling. Have you ever pulled your groin before?
I mean, I could have just pulled it now. Like that could be what I'm experiencing now, to be honest.
Yeah, a pulled groin is no bueno. And if you can rest it for a week and it flares after you don't give it enough energy or enough rest, not energy, if you exert a lot of energy, it can flare up really bad. And I had that a couple times, and you can't even lay down. Like it just hurts all the time.
So this is a possibility.
Yeah.
Because that is also we're going through. This is like WebMD, but through.
Did you stretch?
I've been before the workout.
Yeah.
Yes, but probably not well enough.
How, like, when you guys go work out, do you set 5 to 10 minutes to static and then dynamic, or dynamic and then static stretch to make sure?
I wish I did, but no, I'm not. No, I wouldn't. No.
Like you touch your
I
toes
just jump
2 or
right
3
in.
times.
And I'm not a big workout person anyway. And most of the time, whether it's just general working out, wherever it may be, it's usually just running, a lot of cardio type stuff. I'm not a big weightlifter or anything like that.
So I would say, having been an athlete, I do a lot of the stretches that we did before, like practices and strength training and stuff. But I'm not. I should probably do more of it since I'm older now. But I don't get in, like, I run pretty regularly, so I get to a point where I'm like, I don't need to go into that much in depth in my stretching. But that's probably what caused whatever injury I have, to be honest.
Yeah, the more you run without stretching, just the tighter your muscles get.
Right.
Do you ever activate your hips? Do any like what are those called? Fire hydrants or donkey extension or whatever?
Yes. Sometimes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
I was struggling bad with my hips, and I started doing that, and my back felt better, legs felt better. I was able to run faster and farther. It's amazing. We're just old, I think, is what we're learning. We've talked about that before.
This is what we're learning. I also feel a little bit better that it may not actually be a hernia and could be sciatic or just a pulled groin based on your description of that situation.
Yeah, that's what it felt like for me. A hernia just running is, I guess it's possible, but I've only seen it where it's a bunch of force that you're trying to exert and you don't get enough air, oxygen going through your body at the right time. But I am definitely not a doctor, so I don't know.
Yep.
Well, I'll be finding out soon, so stay tuned. Well, you'll find out. I don't know how to do this. They will. I will have had a diagnosis by the next time the next episode drops.
I know it's weird. Like, so by the time this episode airs, I will be back from North Carolina. So it's like I almost have to do the time travel noise like we did near the very beginning, the little doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, so we can talk as if we're not really on Wednesday, October, whatever the heck date it's going to be, the 4th or something like that. But
I'll be gearing up for the club championship when this releases.
Nice.
I don't know what I'll be doing. I mean, I'll know whenever I get back. I just know I'll be back and hopefully getting ready to.
Where is the club? Where is the club championship? What is the club championship?
It's at my home golf course, River Run in Huntersville. Love that place. Love it. You guys gotta this Charlotte. I don't think I'll ever leave here. It has everything. We're starting to get into the fall, but it's still warm. It's
Yes.
only kind of chilly. We're gonna be able to play golf all year. It has everything. And I'm in the suburbs. Don't tell anybody. I don't want anybody else moving here.
Same where I'm at in Kentucky. We've had the best weather of the entire. I mean, the spring was fantastic too, but like since the transition from summer to fall has kind of taken place, the last 3 weeks have been nothing but sun, no humidity, temperatures basically not getting higher than the middle 80s, and it's just been awesome. Only a couple of days of rain too. I know a lot of people. I don't know. Some people like the rain. I'm not really a big fan of rain, but hey, what you gonna do? Finally got some rain a couple of days ago, but
This is weird. I'm going to say two things. Number one, John, is I'm actually coming down to your area tomorrow.
so
people
what you
listening
mean
to this
you're coming down to my area last Thursday, right? Or last
Friday.
Last
Last Friday. My friend and I, who I gave a shout out to on the last episode, he lives in Nashville, and Louisville's kind of like a midway point. So we're going to meet and do breakfast and take his son to the zoo, I think. So
Oh, that's
be
fun.
down
You
in
ever
that
been to the
area.
Louisville Zoo?
No, this is going to be a first time. Almost did it when we did our Abby and I did our birthday trip down there, but we did. I don't remember. I think it was going to rain or something. I don't remember, or it was going to interfere with one of the distillery tours we were going to do. So we ended up not doing it. And I just made that point, and then I said I had 2 points, and I honestly don't remember what I was.
It's
gonna
okay.
say.
Maybe you'll remember it. The Louisville Zoo.
Oh,
Oh, you
I
got
do
it?
know. I do have it. You don't like rainy days? As a coffee drinker, some of my favorite days are like when it's gloomy outside and I can just put on something on TV and drink coffee all day, particularly when it's cold, not in the summer.
That's a good point. I think, yeah, like hot rain, like during the summer, like you just said, that's not fun. It just adds
Right.
to the humidity. Everything's all sticky and disgusting. But if it's fall rain and it's not like heavy, you can sit on the porch. It's maybe 60 degrees, maybe even lower 70s. Drinking a coffee, that is a good way to go. I am looking forward to having stuff like that.
But then it snows.
I guess I take it. You mentioned earlier how much you like the warm weather, golfing year round. How much do you hate the snow?
The first snow is awesome. Love it. Love it. The problem is the first snow happens typically in October. And then you're still sitting here and it's March and it's snowing.
True.
That's the problem.
I remember last year, at least in my neck of the woods, I don't know how it was where you all live.
It was pretty mild, I think.
It was mild most of the time, but Christmas specifically, it was like it snowed quite a bit. But the temperatures got really low, probably the lowest they were in the past couple of years.
Oh, it was like minus 40.
Yeah, everything after that, though, was, I don't even want to say typical because it was atypical how mild it was.
I was home for Christmas last year, and it like froze my bones. Coming from Charleston, I left and it was 80 and got home and it was negative 30. So bad.
What's your limit for playing golf?
It depends. What are we playing for? Like, am I just going out by myself?
This is a typical, I don't know, you're shooting 9 holes.
Probably 30.
Oh,
that's pretty low, honestly. I'm not a golfer, but that just feels like it wouldn't be fun.
When we were in college, me, Luke Timian, and Nick Westbrook went out to Cascades in Bloomington a couple times in the middle of winter when there was snow on the ground and played with like glow-in-the-dark balls and puffy coats. It was awesome.
That's hilarious. Glow-in-the-dark balls.
I think they play, maybe you would know this since you were in Europe for a while, but don't they play like snow golf in Switzerland with like a red ball?
I don't know. I know golf is very inaccessible in Europe. You have to go through a rigorous test to be able to play on the course, like a playing test with the pro. You have to be a certain handicap. And if you're not, you have to be on the driving range or the putting green. You can't get on the course.
Wow. Did not know that.
I know. I didn't know that either. I went over there the first time. That was – this is so stupid, but I worked that into my contract when I was in Germany to get a golf membership at the
That's awesome.
Golf Club
Nice.
Elb-Florenz. It was awesome. I played on like their Ryder Cup team. They played the rival club from wherever they were from. Played with one of the members. Had my buddy caddying for me. We were the only people that really spoke English. It was awesome.
I like it. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it was fun.
The lovely times in Austria. That is where you played, right?
This one was in Germany. I was in Germany and
Germany.
Austria. All kinds of German language.
There you go. I want to do kind of a little bit of a grab bag of questions. And I'm curious how this is going to go. I'm curious what you think.
You're a curious guy.
Out of my mouth. I'm a very curious guy. If someone gave you an elephant that you can't sell or give away, what would you do with it? Like you're forcibly given an elephant.
How are they going
but
to
you
forcibly
can't give it
give
away.
me an elephant?
Someone
They
gives
just, like-
you an elephant, and your only option, that's not your only option. The only option you can't do is give it to somebody else, but you have an elephant. What do
I
you
have
do
an
with it?
easy answer to this.
What is it?
I would use the elephant to get to the top of my cabinets.
I love that. I guess if it's
We
small
are
enough-
missing out on a third of our cabinet space because neither me or my wife can reach the top.
Oh man,
That's what I would do. I would have him on his trunk. I would double clap, and his little trunk would scoop me right up and get to the top. 100%.
Nobody's going to top that answer. That's the winner.
yeah. That's just because you can ride the elephant, but it wouldn't be very useful.
I don't think I would ride it.
If
I
I had a
feel like-
big enough yard, I would definitely ride it. But
I have an apartment, so I don't know where this elephant's going to stay.
It'd be a lot of space that he would take up. I think elephants are pretty dirty.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess. You have to eat. How much does an elephant eat? Can you look up how many pounds a day of food? What does an elephant eat?
I bet it would be.
Maybe
I bet it's
elephants.
over. Do you think it's 100 pounds of food? That's a lot of food.
Oh. Guess again. Guess
Higher or
again.
lower?
Higher.
you already have the answer.
Yeah.
250 pounds of food.
Elephants eat between 149 and 169 kilograms of vegetation daily, between 330 and 375 pounds.
Wow.
They're
Would
hungry.
not have guessed that.
Grass, plants, bushes, fruit, twigs, bark. Who's eating bark?
They just
I
eat
can't
whatever they
taste
want.
This says an
Do you
African
know-
elephant. This guy's eating a whole pumpkin.
This is okay. This is a weird thought I've always had. We're gonna go off the wall here a little bit.
I'm
Have you
ready.
guys ever-
Take us off the
have you-
wall.
Have you guys ever wondered like what food tastes like to animals? Because dog food smells terrible, but obviously my dog thinks it's delicious. Like what do they taste when they're eating it? Like what does an elephant taste when it's eating a plant?
That's
Is
a
it
good
like this
point.
is delicious, or do they just eat because they have to stay alive and they don't have taste buds? Well, obviously they have to have taste buds because my dog doesn't like pickles.
I feel like I have a pretty good, reasonable explanation for this. And I'm just thinking about when my dog was a puppy and she was, learning basic things like when to eat food. It took her a while to get used to eating her own food. But, like if you have a random treat or, like human food, they would go near that quickly. I feel like
Right.
dogs and other animals just get so accustomed to eating what they eventually learn is their regular food that they don't think about it. Kind of like, I guess, what you were saying. Because it's dogs and other animals get way more excited for human food than they do with their own food. Yeah, they get excited to eat. They know when it's time to have lunch or whatever. But there's a different level of excitement, I feel like, for something that's atypical for them.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
think
point.
that's a big human thing. We just started giving them this dry stuff so we could store it. But the dogs cannot. They can't be like, yes, dry food again. Like, you know, like they. I think.
I mean, imagine
don't
eating
even-
the exact same day every day of your life, multiple times a day, and that's it. I mean,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
people
saying,
change
though.
up their pets'
But
food and
do
stuff
you-
like that, but
But do you know how excited my dog is to eat every morning and every night?
would your dog eat like a piece of wood if you tried to convince him it was food? Is he one of those kinds of pets?
No.
No? Okay.
He eats toys. He destroys his toys. But I think that's more out of a playful thing than I'm hungry.
Yeah.
What Mitchell's saying is correct. He does get more excited over treats and human food and stuff.
The
But
dogs
like,
don't even know what's in there. Like I have a bowl of it could be literally anything, and Franklin looks at me like, "Well, I'm ready. Give me some of that."
I will take some of this, yes.
Yeah, but Franklin also like we leave food in Franklin's bowl all day, every day, and he only eats it twice a day. That sounded like a crazy noise.
I was gonna say, yeah, that little.
That
I don't know
was
if you probably
just
didn't
for
hear
people that are
Dustin.
just listening. That was Dustin adjusting his earpiece. That sounded like you ripped the biggest, nastiest, wettest. You know what? in the
I am
world.
so glad we're on the same page with that
That-
because I thought the exact same thing.
That stunned me. I'm like, mute yourself, bro.
That's going to be a real treat for anybody not watching on YouTube.
Yeah, no,
couldn't
that
see
is
that I was-
But they'll
surprise.
eventually, we'll explain it and they'll figure it out. But
It'll be a
Right.
shock at first.
um,
What else you got? That elephant question's an interesting question.
it was.
What
and
brought that up?
It's just a random question. And some of these other ones that I'm looking at, yeah, I would like to admit that I came up with that, but I didn't. But some of these other ones really suck.
Well, keep them going. Maybe Mitchell's got a good answer. Nobody's going to top that answer from Mitchell. So I have no answer. He should have gone last, to be quite honest.
How old were you when you realized Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny weren't real?
Oh. I hope there are no kids listening to this.
Oh, well, you know what? How do you preface that? That's a good point.
How do you? There's
Not
no
that. Not.
preface in it
Here's the
now.
thing. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. I know we're fairly family friendly so far on this show. I feel like
Everybody
we do
except
sometimes
John.
veer into questionable territory, but
Except for when we talk
I'd
about
go as
band
far as to
names.
say I don't think children, and maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, you know what? As Michael
And
Scott
you're
says,
wrong.
sue me. I don't think children that still believe in holiday fairy tale creatures are listening to the show, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'm going to be real honest with you guys. It was pretty late as a child.
What is the average? Should we look up? Let's look up the average first.
That is a good question. Now, this is where I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit here because I think most parents, if their kid hasn't figured it out by like third or fourth grade, they probably tell them. But I had a younger brother growing up, and so they had to keep the straight. I think I was like in fifth grade, which feels old.
Yeah, the kids at school told me.
That's actually probably pretty common. I feel like.
Yeah,
Probably.
one kid finds out and he can't wait to ruin everyone else's life.
What's hilarious? So this chart I'm looking at, it has the average age for each state, which is I don't get how you get that kind of data, but
It's made up.
what do you think? Which state do you think finds out the latest?
Alabama.
You're close. It's that region.
Yeah, I know. Louisiana, South Carolina.
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
Why is Mississippi dead last in everything?
I mean,
Have you been to
hopefully we don't have any
Mississippi?
Mississippi listeners.
I've not been to Mississippi, but like, what is it? Do they just have nothing? Does the land suck? Do they just have horrible everything?
It's the Wild Wild
educate-
West. No
their
internet,
education-
no internet, no plumbing, no nothing.
No
They're still
plumbing.
riding horses.
They put all their faith in Santa. That's what it is.
Yeah.
No, I've never been to
Did you-
Mississippi either.
Okay.
Anyway, the
You're not
average
missing
age
that
for the
much.
entire United States is nearly 8.5 years old.
Yeah.
Mississippi is just over 10 years old. I'm trying
What
to
is
figure out
Indiana?
I would fit in right in. I'd fit right
Indiana's
in.
right at the average, 8.5. I'm trying to figure out what the lowest.
Kids.
I don't think I've seen 6s, but I see
I feel
7s.
I was only like a year off. Not that bad.
No.
I think it had to be 4th or 5th grade, but mine was the way mine went down was weird. And I don't get why my 8 or 9-year-old brain thought this, but I was convinced that Santa was real, but the Easter Bunny wasn't.
I think I was the same way, John, to be quite honest. I was thinking about
like I initially, as Dustin kicks himself out of the podcast.
Yeah, he got uncomfortable. You could tell he was getting uncomfortable. His issues that he's having, that was just fighting him.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing he can do.
But now I'm sitting here like trying to figure out if I need to worry about getting Dustin back in, but he'll figure it out. But for me, and I don't know why kids' brains work like this, but like obviously there's a point where you believe in all of it. You know that the Tooth Fairy, Easter bunnies. What else is there other than the Tooth Fairy that we're not including in all this?
I don't know.
Dustin, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back.
Did your camera just like explode on you because you're empty?
I am empty. I'm gonna have to be empty here for a minute as I figure this thing out.
But anyway, so we'll continue what you're saying. I don't know what the progression usually is with like Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, that kind of thing. And it seems like it makes no sense to like, I mean, maybe it does make sense. It just doesn't make to us as adults make sense to us as adults. But like, if you're not going to believe in one, you're not going to believe in any of them. At least that's the way it should go. And maybe that's what I eventually realized. Like, there's no way that any human being or humanoid figure is going to fly around the entire globe and deliver gifts to people in less than 24 hours.
That would be crazy, though.
And I feel like in the age of the internet, it's probably a lot easier for kids to figure out.
Yeah.
If they're curious, kind of thing. Because even when I was a kid, like internet was around, but it wasn't like kids weren't living on it like they are nowadays, you know? Anyway, Mitchell, do you have your 2 cents on this? I don't want to keep interrupting you.
No, you're good. So I was inspired by you looking up questions. And I found a fun fact that is in relation to Easter Bunny and Tooth Fairy or whatever. Dr. Seuss books. Did you know that you say Dr. Seuss, Dr. Seuss, and not Dr.
I've heard that
Seuss?
before.
That is shocking to me.
I don't remember when I heard that, but is there a reason that we say it incorrectly anyway?
No, I don't know.
Is that like the whole Bill Belichick thing? Like, I remember there was a video of him saying his name was Bill Belichick. Was that just a troll or what was that?
No.
That's a real thing? His name's actually pronounced Belichick?
Yeah. It's in one of the 30 for 30 documentaries. I think like the 2 Bills or whatever. I think he that's how he pronounces it. But it's probably just easier for us. Like Joe Joe Theismann. That's not. I'm almost 99% sure his last name is actually pronounced Theismann, but They started the Theismann for Heisman campaign, and he's just stuck with Joe Theismann since then.
Yep.
Sorry, I got caught up reading one of these questions because it has some swearing in it, so I'm probably not going to say it. I want to keep it as family friendly as I can. It's kind of funny though, but. Something about Harry Potter in it.
On this podcast before, dude. Just say it.
No, but it's a dumb question. No, I don't even know that it's a good question. I don't even because it doesn't even make any sense. So we're just gonna skip over that.
All right. What else?
Do you ever? This is stupid. Do you ever stop and think about the number of butts in the world? Like, whoa, am I right?
What site are you on?
It even says like, whoa, am I right?
Why would that not just be about people?
Yes, because like there's not humans that don't have a buttocks. What is the actual medical term for a butt or an ass, as some people say?
Wow, dude, are you kidding?
What do you
That
mean
was
am I
so
kidding?
unnecessary.
Gluteus maximus? Is that what it is?
You just said we're trying to keep it family friendly, and then you just add that for no reason.
Well, let me clarify something. So I work in radio, for those who don't know, and there are certain things that you can say on the radio that you like. They kind of toe the line, but they don't have to. Like, you don't have to hit the dump button for them. Like, you can't say like the F word. You can't say, any sort of private part. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But you can say ass. You can say damn. You can even say bitch. So I'm educating you guys tonight on things you can say on the radio that may toe the line.
Well, the FCC won't let me be, so let me be me, so let me see.
They want to shut me down on MTV, but it feels so empty,
without me.
Are we going to get a
There we
copyright claim for talking the lyrics to an Eminem song?
I can't
I
imagine
think
we
you have
would.
to have over 10 listeners for that, and we don't. So
We do.
Could you imagine they're gonna get $0 out of the three of us combined?
Yeah. Well, what could they possibly want from us?
I can give them some mini corn dogs that I've been eating this whole show.
They're gonna want Mitchell's golf membership in Germany for when he tours abroad.
Facts. What else you got for us?
I don't know. I'm trying to find things that aren't so. I don't know. Honestly, the reason I'm even doing this is because I'm avoiding the question that I really want to ask. Because if
What's
I
the
ask
question
it,
you really want to ask?
it's not even a question. It's more of a story, and I'm curious your all's take on. It's not even really a story. It's something that makes me uncomfortable. It's something that makes me uncomfortable.
You've gone from saying this was a question, not really a question. This is a story, not really a story. Which I feel like we have no idea what this is. So I feel like you should say it. Is it inappropriate? Are we going to get fined?
No, we're not going to get fined. No, who's going to fine us? The FCC. We already went over that. The FCC can't let us be. All right. This is a topic that I've had written down for a few days. So when I'm in the grocery store, right? I know we talked about the grocery store before. There's a certain aisle in the grocery store that I walk past sometimes. And sometimes, you walk past it and you're like, why? How do I say this? Okay, let's just get right to the point. It's the condom section. And, in Walmart specifically, they've got it locked up in a door. So if you want to purchase condoms, you have to go tell somebody that you want to buy condoms. Is that not the most uncomfortable thing in the world?
You know what you do, John, is you go out of Walmart and you go to Walgreens where you can just walk up and buy what you need.
Yeah.
You don't have to go up and make this embarrassing walk of shame.
But here's the thing, though. At a Walgreens or a gas station or any other place, and I know I can buy them off Amazon too. Like, I'm not ignorant. But when you buy them at any place that doesn't have like a self-checkout, you've got to basically what you're doing is telling somebody that you're trying to get lucky tonight, right?
Yeah. I mean, or you're the one that you've been saving has gone bad.
Have you all ever seen the New Girl episode where, first of all, have you ever even seen that show, New Girl?
No.
Yes.
Well, since Dustin's heard it, I'll mention. Do you remember the episode where Winston is in desperate need of a condom? So he's like going into every store and basically doing exactly what I'm afraid of doing, being super forward about it.
Well, I don't remember that episode, but I did have a friend in college who he was super embarrassed to buy them. So he would go and he would like buy it with like, he'd go up and get like M&Ms or something. Like he'd always buy something else. But it doesn't change anything.
It's like you're trying to hide, like,
right,
M&Ms and
but then that made me think, like, when you go into the store and if it's on your list of things to buy, right, and you buy other things, what would be like the weirdest combination where the checkout person would be like, well, what's happening here?
Dog treats.
Probably also have like Plan B. I didn't even hear what Mitchell said. What did he say? Dustin is squealing right now, and it's hilarious. And I missed the punchline.
To buy in tandem dog treats.
What? Oh,
See,
No.
I
Yeah, that is that's man. All it took was one answer again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're killing it today.
I always thought like a toothbrush or mouthwash would be a weird combination as well. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like
Oh
Yes.
you're just gonna start implying things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a more probably common weird thing.
Right.
I think you just call the police if you see the things that the combination that I said.
Well, so there's another layer to this still. Like there's always certain sections of the store that have, locked doors where you can't get, and it's usually in the electronics section. And I get that.
Usually video games.
Yeah, usually video games, TV, like, basically any electronic, really, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But what is it about the con? They just think a bunch of horned up people are going to walk in and take all of the stuff.
No, here's the thing, John. I would bet money. Okay, maybe I wouldn't bet money. But nonetheless, I would think that at Walmart, because of the reasons that we've talked about, the embarrassment factor, I bet condoms would be among the top 5 things stolen.
I would have guessed
And
top
that doesn't
one.
surprise me, but I don't
Like
know.
they did that. They did that for a reason. They obviously had somebody that researched like most popular stolen items,
Yep.
and I would bet condoms are. Mitchell might be right. It might be number 1. I'm going to say top 5.
That's
I feel like
actually a good list. I'm curious what the top 5 most stolen grocery store items are.
I feel like a candy bar or like those candies at the front. I bet that would be a common thing to steal. I would think that would be number 1.
By the way, since we're already talking condoms, has anybody ever bought one of those? Like let's just say you're in a rundown gas station, you're on a trip or whatever. You ever bought one of those? Just the ones that are in the men's restrooms, they're just kind of hanging there, and I don't even know what they're called, but they usually have the most obscure names on them.
No, not once.
I don't think many people have. Maybe back like in the 1980s or something. And
If you can get it, I'm not purchasing anything from where you can get a machine. You can get condoms and cologne. That seems unsafe.
all right, here's the top 5 most shoplifted items and why. Number 1 is alcohol. Due to its high cost and easy concealment, that's not surprising. Makeup and cosmetics.
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever seen them locked up in a grocery store though. Like alcohol is obvious because if you're in a dry county, they can just shut the their little curtain that is legitimately barely any security at all. But
I was gonna say that curtain. They put the
put a
curtain
curtain
down,
over everything. Clothing and fashion accessories. There's electronics, and then I guess this is just kind of a generic. It says food and groceries. Doesn't say anything about reproductive.
This is the worst list ever.
It is a
Yeah,
very
just like-
generalized list.
This is what I've
Food.
got. I've got meat and steaks in particular, makeup, alcoholic beverages, baby formula, which kind of sucks. That's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chocolate. So there's yours, Dustin. Seafood.
Okay.
Reselling to restaurants can be a common activity. Over-the-counter medicines, ibuprofen, personal care items, and family planning products.
Okay, so it's at the bottom.
Yeah.
But like
I'm
other
shocked
things, like
by that.
over-the-counter medicine's not locked up. Like you can go and get Zyrtec or Claritin, any of that crap.
And some of the allergy medicine, I use Flonase in the spring. It's like $20 for one of the small ones of those things. It's crazy.
I don't know.
I may have to resort to this. I need to resort to a life of crime.
Yeah, we're just out here giving criminal advice right now is what this is,
This
right?
is more like life advice.
So there you go.
Oh,
Anyway, I guess the lesson is just order all your condoms off Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess
You do
Dustin
that.
goes to Walgreens and
Aren't you married,
what do you
John?
I am married. What, I need to have my wife buy them for me?
Oh boy, here we go.
Just because wait, was that a sexist comment? An unintentional sexist comment?
No.
Oh,
I don't think so.
I didn't think I said anything wrong.
Wait, time out. Before Mitchell gets to his next point here, if he's gonna make the point on here, I think if you were uncomfortable and she wasn't, and she bought them, I don't see there's not a problem with that, right?
Yeah. Well, Mitchell, what were you getting at?
I'm just curious.
He's not gonna say it.
I don't even remember what he said though, because I felt like we were all coming in at the same time.
I was just curious.
Oh, never mind. So we have this we have a private chat in our I'm not gonna read what it says, but now I understand.
Well, I gotta read it.
Yeah, you
Not out
definitely just
loud.
outed me as using the private chat, but
Well,
that's fine.
I'm not. Wait, oh, was this supposed to be just to me? You think it was just going to me?
No, I think the private part of private chat was supposed to be like that's just for us three.
But I'm not going to say what it says though. I was just going to say that.
like it.
Now
I
get it and move
cliffhanger.
forward.
Listeners, tune in next week. Maybe we'll talk about it.
Can I tell you that I would guess 99% of the people know what we're talking about even before you mentioned private chat?
Yeah.
I picked up on it right away.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
I don't know if it's this camera. I think my face is uneven. You ever get that?
I've got to say one thing, and I know I've mentioned before that I'm sick of having to use this camera, and I shouldn't have been so cheap and bought the cheapest one at Walmart. See, this is the kind of crap. They don't need to put this kind of crap behind a lock box or whatever. But I've got my goal. I'm almost want to just promise it on the show, so I'll just do it for the next time that we record. I want to have my old style of camera back, and I want to have the voicemail set up because I'm ready for people to send us things that. And first of all, I'm going to go. I'll say this again too. Once I do get it set up, I want people when they call in to say whatever it is they're going to say, participate in whatever topic we're going to discuss. I also want them to say something that they've done or do regularly, something about their personality that makes them out of touch. And maybe that's cheesy. Maybe it's not. I just think it'd be fun because that's what we are. We're all out of touch. We all say things and do things that maybe you might think the average person doesn't do. So I like to learn about what our audience, certain things they may do that go against the grain, and that's fine. So, man,
this is a real question that I have stumbled on. Since I've started at elephants, then I found out about Dr. Seuss, then what the most stolen items. Someone in 2010 said, "I'm thinking about turning to a life of crime, but I don't know where to start." Says, "I'm 26, stuck in a dead-end job, never had a girlfriend or anything like that, but I'm tired, and I'm thinking, what if I just robbed a bank, quit my job, and lived off the proceeds? Only problem is I have no experience when it comes to crime. Can anyone recommend some books, like A Beginner's Guide to Robbing Banks?"
That doesn't sound real at all. That was fairly convincing until the last part.
I'm just telling you what it says on this message board.
I'm curious. I wonder if that person, in 2010, you never know. That was still, the internet was alive and well in 2010, but it also, message boards and stuff like that were way more of a common thing people used for asking questions like that back in those times, I feel like.
That's true. I'm afraid of getting caught with one of the smaller crimes before I move to the big stuff. So why don't I just start with the big stuff?
If you're going to do it, go big or go home, right?
I wish that like train robbing, although pretty violent. You ever play Red Dead Redemption?
I've seen people play it, like the new one.
Oh man, what a thrill that must have been! See a train driving by and you just on your horse shooting your revolver in the air. That must have been so crazy.
You a big horse riding simulator guy? I've heard people call that game that.
It's a lot of riding your horse in a massive map. Yes. Have you guys ever ridden a horse?
I bet it's relaxing though. I've never ridden a horse.
I've ridden a horse, and the thing about
that's a lie. That's a lie. I have. But you said you almost died, Dustin. Explain.
Almost died twice. Well, first of all, So I was up on this giant. I don't know what kind of horse it was. I assume it's a Clydesdale because it was giant. And I'm about Mitchell's height. So, but we walked like the horse was trotting along the trail, and there was a low tree branch. I'm not kidding. I had to lay down on top of the horse, like hugging the horse, so I didn't hit the tree branch. So that was part one. But before that, when I had to uh like get into the stable to get on the horse, this thing's like 10 feet tall. And the guy's like,
Yeah.
all right, just hop on up there. And I'm like, I'm 5'8". There ain't no hop up on up there. I'm there's so like get me the step stool. Get me Mitchell's elephant that can lift me up on top of this horse.
There you go.
So kind of riding a horse is a little bit embarrassing, but I did it. I don't know that I need to do it again, but it wasn't like it. I don't know. I'm indifferent
Dustin,
about
I feel
riding.
like you and I are just clumsy human beings. When it
That's
comes down
correct.
to
I
it.
am correct.
So
I'm going to go back to this. This is the last thing. This is from this same forum. This says, find an old lady carrying all of her groceries and ask if she needs help carrying her stuff. Carry all of her stuff back to her home, and once you get home, knock her out and take all the stuff.
my gosh, that a suggestion?
That's a suggestion.
That
2010, folks.
man,
2010.
2010. Man,
That's good
I
stuff.
was 13 years old. I was. Wait, was that 13? That doesn't. Yeah, that's right. I would have been in 6th grade.
I graduated college.
You were
thanks,
in
John.
6th grade
Yep.
as a 13-year-old. Did you get held back?
No, so the school district I was in Southern Indiana, I was like at the very, I guess that's the top of like the cutoff date. I was always the
You're-
oldest kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's how it
Okay.
worked.
That's fair.
let
When
me
did you
ask
get
if I got held back.
when did you get a beard?
So I started being able to grow facial hair at some point in high school, but it was, like the dirty Sanchez mustache. It looked like crap. But of course, when you're in high school, you're like, oh, I can grow facial hair. Let's just keep growing it out, even though it looks like the most disgusting thing on a face. But once I got into college, and I guess it's probably, I don't know, halfway to towards the end is when I really like being able to grow it in full, like being able to shape it the right way and actually look like a normal adult. So it's definitely one of the things I don't want to say pride myself on, because that sounds really egotistical, but I like the fact that I can grow a beard.
Me too.
I don't feel like it's egotistical if you feel like you can grow a beard. Seems
Well, to
like
be able to do, well, I guess like
I want
think
you.
that,
No, what I
think that it looks
no,
good. To think that it looks good.
No. What I want you to do is go into a job interview some point, and when they ask for skills, say I'm good at growing a beard. That's
You don't even have to say it. Just point to it.
yeah.
Like,
Not trying to be
see this?
egotistical here. Not trying to be egotistical here, but I'm like really good at growing beards.
If I'm ever applying for an on-air shift, like a morning
There you
show
go.
or whatever, be like, you see this? This is the exact kind of beard that you want on the radio, because not a single person will ever see it.
Yeah. Do you want to be an on-air radio guy?
Honestly, I don't know what I want to do. I just know that I like doing this. I like working and broadcasting. Honestly, I've learned to like doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff and doing this for fun. This is a way for me to quote-unquote be on the air and, be more so like I don't want to say a resume builder, but like it's just fun. Helps me build my confidence. And honestly, I don't know if some of you all may not realize this. Like sometimes I get I told Dustin this on the last episode. I'm a very self-deprecating human being. And especially when it comes to this, because not that I take myself seriously, but I take sounding good seriously. So whenever I feel like I'm not doing that, I get really down. That's just the nature of this business. And that's the way it goes sometimes.
So do you want us to tell you when you're doing bad or what?
Wouldn't that be something if you just like told me to shut up every 45 seconds? Like, dude,
Gosh,
stop
John,
talking
not
about condoms.
again.
Why are you talking about reproductive items again?
Gosh, not again.
How dare
we should be a
you?
lot harder on each other.
We should be harder on each other?
I think so.
Why?
I don't know. It could be funny.
Next time it's just constant harassment of the three of us.
That's the whole
Look, I'm back.
episode. That's right. Just in time to close out. Anything else, guys?
I
we
don't
should
think
wrap
so.
This one up. It's been fun. It really took a turn. I'm glad, but I'm also not glad that I brought up the condom thing. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how the listeners will feel about it.
Well, now we know what the top 5 stolen items in supermarkets is.
Exactly.
Are.
I guess stealing condoms is like the gateway drug to being criminal.
I'm still shocked. It's not top 5. For that reason, I guess, although if you're embarrassed to buy them, you might be embarrassed to steal them. Because if you got caught.
I
don't know.
Oh, well. That'll do it this time. And, yeah. I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to go and I'm going to make it a promise. And honestly, most of y'all probably don't even care. I don't know who... I don't mean that in a negative way, but like me just saying this out loud is my way in making sure that I'll do it. But for the next episode, I will have a better looking camera. And for those of you who are on Spotify, you don't even look at it. You look at us. You're just listening, in your headphones or whatever. But I'm going to have a new camera. And I'm also going to have the voicemail number for you all to send stuff to. So with that being said, thanks for listening to us as always. For Mitchell, Dustin, and the ghost sitting next to me, this has been Out of Touch.